Protests against immigration crackdown have now spread across the United States as streets of Los Angeles become the ground zero for the demonstrations. U.S. President saying Los Angeles would have burned to the ground if he did not act. And this comes as a power play is playing out between the California governor and the American president. California governor accused Trump of authoritarianism. As protests escalate, President Trump has doubled down on troop deployment. Donald Trump has in fact ordered 2,000 more National Guards to be deployed in Los Angeles. Along with this, he has also called in 700 Marine personnel, often referred to as America's elite fighting force. Trump says his deployment of Marines and other soldiers to Los Angeles is preventing the city from burning to the ground. And earlier today, protesters and police came face to face in Santa Ana area of southeast of Los Angeles, where sounds of flash bangs, firecrackers were heard exploding in the distance. Security forces dispersed the protesters using rubber bullets and armored vehicles in downtown Los Angeles. These demonstrators had gathered outside a federal detention center in downtown where immigrants have been held. And the National Guard forces had formed a human barricade to keep the people out of the building. Later, personnel moved up the street, starting to push people from the scene and firing less lethal munitions such as gas canisters.
Without proper due process, it is corruption for them to sit here and act like you.
假的枪正在假装向人群中射击。
And earlier, protesters fired fireworks as they clashed with the police. Others banged on the sides of unmarked vehicles as they passed through police containment lines. There were also scenes of levity as some protesters danced to a band playing music from a truck on the street. Immigration crackdown and the protests that began in Los Angeles first spread within California to San Francisco and capital Sacramento. But now they are being reported from California to New York. In Texas, protests were reported in Austin, Houston, other parts as well. People also took to the streets in Philadelphia, Boston, Chicago. Let's now get to these visuals from Texas, where protests were reported in two major parts, Dallas and Austin. Multiple people were detained after a street showdown with the police officers. And as the tensions rise, California governor has come down heavily on the U.S. president, slamming the move as deranged and un-American. In a social media post, he wrote, U.S. Marines should not be deployed on American soil, facing their own countrymen to fulfill the deranged fantasy of a dictatorial president. And when asked earlier about the governor's assertions that he wanted to start a civil war, President Trump hit back at the governor.
You want a civil war on the streets of America.
No, that's just the opposite. I don't want a civil war. A civil war would happen if you left it to people like him. And I liked him. You know, I always got along with him. Never had a problem with him. But he's grossly incompetent.
Let's just tell you, this is the first time since 1965 that a U.S. president has sent National Guard troops to a U.S. city without a governor's approval, and the move sparked a political tug-of-war between Democrats and Republicans. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.